move on to the fourth question, I believe. That is, how can mothers shift from simply adopting AI to actively guiding their children and using it to solve real world problems? If you have any personal experience, feel free to share it. So,
Yeah. So, to answer your question, I think that the shift starts with changing the question from what is this tool to what problem can we solve with it, just like to link it to our reality. And just like an example from my book series, Let's Teach Ruby. So, like where each story connects AI to a real world function. So, like in Let's Teach Ruby to C, for example, children learn how machine recognizes images, right? So, like a mother can take that further by asking the child, for example, what do we see this in real life? Maybe in face recognition, maybe in sorting photos. Or another example is like, let's teach Ruby to decide. So, like, which introduces machine learning, and parents can engage with their children by asking them, how does Netflix or YouTube decide what to show you? So, like, just to explain to them how does these kind of complicated AI complex translate into real world, and then like they help us solve a problem, because like we're not using AI just like for the sake of it or for the fun of it. So like most of the time these tools are useful and they are kind of solving a problem that we have at hand. So I think that these small conversations help children connect concepts to real life problems and to systems. And it's not about teaching advanced AI, it's more about helping the children see how AI is already part of the world around them and how it can be used thoroughly. So, like, as Grace mentioned, so like these kids are born with iPads in their hands. So, like, it's their era and they need to be well connected, well aware of how it functions and how they can use it in real life and in their day to day as well.
yeah. Absolutely. With many companies right now involving, I think almost all companies have been integrating AI systems in their company. And so it's really everywhere if you look around. It's there in places where you won't even notice. Like Yusra mentioned earlier, even what Netflix recommends to us or what YouTube algorithm is promoting, it's all AI based. It's everything. It's all because of AI. We are using AI in everything. And when children are experiencing all this, they have a more tolerant, a more like a welcoming approach to AI in general. So yes, they're through real life experiences, they're learning a lot, and that's how AI can be used. Akansha, let's hear from you.
Yeah. Um, so I feel like we need to take a step back, and as the question points out, that we need to understand real world scenarios first. So in my experience as a founder, also I help people or businesses solve problems or specific use cases where I help them build the technology behind it. So if you are focused on the problem, you can't be just focused on the problem. You have to understand everything around it. So the business use case, the holistic process, who is involved, where is it being used, all of these things are important. I think similarly, if we start teaching or give exposure to children about certain problems, it could be sustainability, it could be watering the plants, or anything. When they see those things happening around them, then they start thinking about solving those problems. So I think it's not just exposure to AI, which is great, which is happening at such a fast pace, because they are born, they learn using an iPad before they learn writing, I think. So in that scenario, I think in my suggestion would be like we take the children and take them a step back, where we let them explore these problems, or like visiting a farm or things like that, where they can actually imagine or stumble across a problem. I think that's where they will learn how to solve it. and they will use AI much faster than we will. So, giving kids the real world exposure is equally important. And I think that's the aspect of the question that I would like to focus on. So if we give kids enough exposure to certain kinds of problems, or things that they can feel and touch and see, and it's their experience, then they will try to work on it. And I think Google did this research grant, and kids have come up with really great solutions, like 14, 15 years old, and like they would come up with solutions to global problems because they experienced it firsthand. So I think that's a good way to go about it, especially when we talk about real world problems.
Yeah. So true. I think when kids are involved, I mean, when they like Akansha said, when kids are more exposed to so many global issues, and we don't shy them away from all these issues and show them the reality, like sustainability issues, all that, it's really important for them to see this so that they can come up with like really good solutions to this, and they can be the new leaders using AI for the better. Grace, let's hear from you.
Yeah, I really like Yosha's example to use Let's Teach Roby to connect the kids on important topics around AI with real life examples. And Akansha has also mentioned about the importance of drawing from real life problems, expose those kids to real life problems. I think I would just share a personal story with my nephew. When he was in Dubai with me, we joined actually the NASA Space App Challenge in Dubai, and together we built a prototype on a tool called SpaceTalk.ai, which is an AI tool for the kids around 9 to 6 years old to talk to their favorite planet to learn about space science. I have a proud auntie at that time, a very proud team leader to see my 6 years old nephew just doing the product demo in front of the judges and the participants. But I think importantly, I found this experience very precious. I think that is what repeatedly emphasizing engaging with the kids in their AI learning journey and expose them to the real life problems. I think that is where I want to just highlight with my personal examples the other two panelists has mentioned.
Right, that's very enlightening to hear from you. Let's move on to the fifth question, which is, what advice would you give to mothers who feel intimidated by AI but want to empower their children in this space?
Yeah. So I think my advice is start simple and start with your child. So my kind of background, or like my kind of understanding, is that mothers don't need to understand how AI works technically, because at the end of the day, mothers come from different backgrounds. They have different understandings, they have different responsibilities. Maybe they don't have the time to dig deeper, right, into understanding all of these technicalities. So like for me, I kind of feel it's unfair for us to ask them to be very technical and like to know everything and learn everything before passing it to your child. The whole idea is like to be inclusive, and then like we need to include mothers before we include children. So I think instead they could focus on asking questions, on exploring these very fun and interesting concepts together with their children, and being curious simply. So like even saying, I don't know, let's figure it out together, is an incredibly powerful answer. So like they're not saying that they don't know, and they're not letting that be a problem or like a stop for their children to learn about AI. So they are empowering their children their way, and from whichever level they are at. So, and also using resources designed for children, like stories, games, or guided activities. So, something that I'm really proud of, like within Let's Teach Ruby. So, like it is a story that's explaining the concepts for the children. But what I always do, so like within every story, I include a pager for the parent at the end. So, like it's adult language explaining the concept that the story is about, so like they can prepare themselves. And I keep some examples from like real life. So it is like a teaching moment for both the parent and the child. So again, my only advice for mothers and parents in general is like to be confident. And confidence doesn't come from knowing everything. It comes from being willing to learn together and to take that step together with the child.
That's a beautiful perspective. I think that too, because overcomplicating things for mothers can be really hard with all the responsibilities, like you have said, they have already. So, like starting simple is a really good approach for them to use AI in a more meaningful way and understand what is going beyond. I mean, what is happening, and learning together like with their kids is not. It's not only like giving more knowledge for them, but it's also a great bonding time for each other as well. Let's hear from Akansha.
I really loved what Yusra said. The only thing I would probably add is that for mothers, it can be intimidating when you don't know it. Maybe you also use it for yourself, you know, be that child, be like explore, make some mistakes with AI. You don't need to be an expert in AI. You need to just know how to use it, right? So you don't need to be the person who makes the plane. You just need to know how to ride the plane, and we all can easily do that. So I think a lot of the confidence issues and the overwhelming feelings is because you don't know or you have not experienced it. So sometimes especially like me with my sister, I just make sure we sit down and we just try, and without any pressure. And just that sometimes helps not only us bond, but also gives her a little bit more confidence, a little, that slight bit more uh you know uh ease around AI. So now she feels a little bit more confident. So it's like that. I think that's the best example I can add to make her, like, this is what I did with her, to like make her feel more comfortable around AI, and I'm hoping things like this can help other women as well.
Mm.
Right, absolutely. That plain analogy really summed up everything. Grace, let's hear from you.
Yeah, I think Yosha and Arkansha share really great advice for mothers. I think my advice is rather to the AI founders around the world and how can they take into account the mother's role in developing new AI products that can empower this group of users? How can we build AI products that give mothers peace of mind or to gain their trust in the mother-child interaction with AI tools? Those are the open-ended questions for all the AI founders around the world to think about.
That's a great perspective. Let's move on to the next question. That is, how can mothers help children balance creativity and critical thinking when navigating AI generated content?
I think this is a very important a question and aspect. So AI is amazing. It's like an amazing tool for creativity. But children also need to question what they see. So like they shouldn't be raised just like to accept whatever is being offered to them rather than like being a part of it. So like one simple approach is to always combine creation with reflection. So, like for example, if a child uses AI to generate a story or an image, as Grace was doing with her nephew, so, like, try to ask them, do you think this is accurate? Would you change something? Do you understand the prompt that has generated this? Do you think that could be a bias to it? So, also, like in my programs and through Let's Teach Ruby, we always include moments for reflection where children challenge the output, not just accept it as it is because we say so, right? And that's how we build both creativity and critical thinking together in the child. So, like, they are creative, they are curious, they would like to learn, but they are also always questioning, always criticizing, just to be sure that they are kind of involved and like they don't take it, they don't take anything for what it is as the absolute truth.
Yeah, so there is this saying that artificial intelligence is not a solution for human stupidity. And the fun part, I feel like we need to balance the use of AI with real world, like in real world stimulation, I would say. So it's like everything needs to be balanced. So if the kid is watching or is with the iPad for 12 hours, that's not good, because that's a little too much. So I think for parents, finding that balance within themselves and with the kids is very important, because if you are on your phone all day, your kid is going to learn to be on the iPad every day. So it's just as simple as that. Um, we There just needs to be a balance. So you want to use it, but there has to be a cutoff. For how maybe it's the time period, maybe it's what things you use it for. But yes, because children are very impressionable and they are like sponges and they can absorb everything. We do need to create that kind of boundary around AI. So that therefore you can balance the creativity versus the critical thinking. So I feel like that is the best way to handle it. And it can be a little subjective when it comes to like what is my boundary, what is happening, and especially if there is a clash between the instructions at home and the instructions in school, could be very confusing for the child. So a lot of the times, if you are in alignment all around, that helps. And for example, like coloring or drawing or painting, like yes, you can get it generated by AI, but there are some things that you just want to create yourself. Like do it, get your hands dirty, that kind of thing. So I think if we balance both the perspectives, then children will learn more holistically around in and around AI. So that would be my suggestion on this particular topic, because there is no right or wrong when it comes to AI. So we just have to be like create your subjective boundary around it.
Yeah, I think both Ryosha and Ashanka has mentioned about the two critical tips on creation and reflection and power of balancing. I think I would just highlight a little bit on maybe other aspect on this topic. For example, I feel that mothers may need to understand a little bit about AI safety for kids on the policy and guidelines. For example, there are several references worth really understanding more, such as UNICEF guidance on AI and children, and there are some other EU AI Act and some other guidance. They really highlight some important concepts. We can get familiar with those concepts. For example, age appropriateness on the AI content, emotional safety, cultural authenticity and respect, children privacy protection, transparency on AI, whether they have indicated that is AI generated or not. These are all the starting points for mothers to guide their children in developing critical thinking skills around AI generated content. But I think mother may need to be open to learn about these terms first before they can guide their children. So that is my take on this topic.
Right. That's a good perspective, because mothers need to be curious as well to show that children can be, open to AI experiences, and that's a really good perspective.